Throughout history, those called to a higher spiritual purpose have often faced intense battles with lust. This struggle, though rarely spoken about openly, is more common than many realize. The reasons behind it are deeply spiritual, revealing a calculated attack by the enemy against those anointed for greatness. If you are feeling overwhelmed by this silent battle, know that you are not alone. There is a biblical explanation for why this happens and a path to overcoming it. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. Biblical precedents, anointed yet tempted. The Bible is filled with examples of anointed individuals who faced fierce temptations, particularly in the area of lust. King David, described as a man after God's own heart, succumbed to the temptation of lust with Bathsheba, leading to devastating consequences in his life and kingdom. 2 Samuel 11. Samson, endowed with supernatural strength and a divine calling, was repeatedly ensnared by his weakness for Delilah, which ultimately led to his downfall. Judges 16. Solomon, blessed with unparalleled wisdom, allowed his desire for foreign women to turn his heart away from God. 1 Kings 11 verses 1-4. Even today, those chosen by God are not exempt from this struggle. But why is lust such a common and powerful weapon against them? The spiritual battle behind lust. Ephesians 6 verse 12 reminds us that our struggles are not merely physical, but spiritual. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Lust is not just a natural human temptation. It is a strategic spiritual attack designed to derail those called to a divine purpose. The enemy understands that if he can corrupt the purity of a chosen one, he can hinder God's work through them. 5 reasons why chosen ones struggle with lust. 1. Spiritual sensitivity makes temptation stronger. Those with a high spiritual calling often have heightened awareness, not just of God's presence, but also of the enemy's schemes. This sensitivity can make temptations feel more intense. Lust is a powerful distraction that the enemy uses to weaken spiritual warriors. The more anointed a person is, the more opposition they will face. The enemy knows that if he can entangle them in lust, he can hinder their spiritual growth and effectiveness. 2. Isolation leads to hidden battles. Many chosen individuals walk a path that few can understand, often experiencing seasons of solitude. While this solitude can be a time of growth, it also creates a dangerous vulnerability. Without strong accountability and deep spiritual connections, lust can become a private battle. The secrecy of this struggle makes it harder to overcome, leading many to suffer in silence, feeling unworthy or disconnected from their divine purpose. 3. High calling attracts greater attacks. The greater the calling, the stronger the spiritual warfare. Many great leaders, prophets, and spiritual warriors have fallen because they underestimated the power of this battle. Lust isn't just a natural urge. It is a spiritual trap designed to distract, drain, and distance chosen ones from God. The enemy knows that if he can ensnare them in sexual sin, he can cause guilt, shame, and separation from God's presence. 4. Emotional wounds create open doors. Many chosen ones carry deep emotional wounds, rejection, abandonment, heartbreak, or childhood trauma. These unhealed scars can become open doors for lust. When a person is emotionally vulnerable, the enemy offers lust as a counterfeit comfort, a temporary escape from pain. Without inner healing, lust becomes a coping mechanism, creating a cycle of sin and shame that is difficult to break. 5. Strong spiritual gifts come with a weak flesh. Those with powerful spiritual gifts are still human, and their flesh remains weak. Without consistent spiritual discipline, prayer, fasting, and renewing the mind, the battle against lust intensifies. Jesus himself warned in Matthew 26 verse 41, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." No matter how anointed someone is, they must actively guard themselves through spiritual discipline. Otherwise, they risk falling into patterns of lustful thoughts and actions that compromise their calling. Breaking free, overcoming the battle with lust. Though lust is a strong enemy, victory is possible. Here are key strategies for overcoming this struggle. 1. Strengthen your spirit through prayer and fasting. Regular prayer and fasting weaken the flesh and strengthen the spirit. Jesus said in Matthew 17 verse 21, "This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting." Overcoming lust requires spiritual discipline and reliance on God's power. 2. Build strong accountability. Isolation breeds temptation. Find trusted spiritual mentors or accountability partners who can provide support and prayer. Confessing struggles to others brings them into the light, reducing their power. James 5 verse 16. 3. Renew your mind daily. Romans 12 verse 2 teaches, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Lustful battles often start in the mind. Meditate on Scripture and replace impure thoughts with God's truth. 4. Identify and heal emotional wounds. Inner healing is crucial. Seek God's presence for healing past wounds that may be driving the temptation toward lust. Counseling, deliverance prayer, and inner healing ministries can help break cycles of sin rooted in emotional pain. 5. Set practical boundaries. Avoid situations that stir temptation. Whether it's limiting certain media consumption, avoiding isolating situations, or using accountability software, practical steps help minimize opportunities for the enemy's attacks. Conclusion: walking in victory. Lust is a battle that many chosen ones face in secret, but they do not have to fight alone. Through spiritual discipline, accountability, healing, and reliance on God's power, victory is possible. The enemy's goal is to keep them trapped, ashamed, and disconnected from their divine calling. But God's power is always greater. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13 assures us, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." For those struggling, take heart. Your battle is not a sign of failure, but of the great calling on your life. Stand firm, draw near to God, and He will equip you to overcome every attack of the enemy. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.